Namaskaram. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. On behalf of Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandira, a very warm welcome to all of you who are joining us for this daily meditative practice series through the month of Margashirsha. This is day 26 of Dhanur Dhya Sadhana, day 26 of the month of Margashirsha, and also happens to be a very auspicious day, Vaikuntha Ekadashi. There are 24 Ekadashis that occur in a year. Ekadashi refers to the 11th day of the waxing and the waning fortnights. The story behind Ekadashi goes that Mahavishnu was in a very long, prolonged battle with an asura named Mura. At one interval between periods of battle, he had gone into a state of Yoga Nidra when Mura attempted to enter the space that Vishnu was in. As he was immersed in Yoga Nidra, from his body emerged the crystallization of his entire Yoga Shakti, Yoga Maya. She took the form of a beautiful woman and she took on Mura, reducing him to dust simply by uttering a humkara. She just uttered the hum sound very loudly, destroying him in that instant. And so, waking up from his Yoga Nidra, Vishnu greatly praised Yogamaya and said that from now, you who destroyed Mura would be known as Ekadashi and you would be celebrated on the waxing and waning days of fortnight on the Tithi of Ekadashi. That is how Ekadashi comes to get the name. And it is believed that when we maintain a fast, when we take up a vrata, typically all vratas are intended as tapas, as ways of disciplining the body through diet, our speech through extreme vigilance and caution of what we utter and what we do, and ways of refining the mind by restraining the persistent need of the senses for gratification. And so the tapas of the body, the mind, the senses and speech happens on all such occasions of vrata, with Ekadashi being among the most prominent. Today is Vaikuntha Ekadashi, special because on this occasion, it is believed that the doors to Vaikuntha open. Vaikuntha or Paramapada is the highest domain where Mahavishnu abides, where Mahavishnu is present as Paravasudeva, as Parabrahman. And it is believed that on the day of Vaikuntha Ekadashi, the doors to Vaikuntha Paramapada open. And so it is customary in Vishnu temples across the world to have a doorway that is dedicated to be opened on this day, on Vaikuntha Ekadashi, when all those who come to the temple are permitted to pass through that doorway. It is believed that this Ekadashi is known as Mokshada Ekadashi, and it is believed that walking through these doorways on the occasion of Vaikuntha Ekadashi ensures us a place in Vaikuntha at the feet of Lord Vishnu. The fact remains here is that merely walking through the doorway is not enough. Walking through the doorway is a reminder of all that we need to do to uplift ourselves, to refine ourselves, to discipline speech, thought, and action, and to direct them in the service and the celebration of the divine, that is the source of this universe. And so it is a reminder that occurs year on year, and therefore the vrata associated where we try to restrain voluntarily this constant outward surge of the senses seeking gratification, instead directing the senses towards activities such as puja, japa, and kshetratana, where people customarily visit different temples of Vishnu, seeking the darshan of the divine. There is also another very charming custom the night prior to Vaikuntha Ekadashi, it is expected that we are to be awake, because even overcoming our tendency, our need for nidra is also a vrata. And traditionally, people would stay up through the night. They would sing songs. Kirtana is a very important tradition, the bhajana and the kirtana tradition. And people would also come together as families, as communities, to play the Paramapada Sopanam, also known as Mokshapada, a game, a board game that is believed to have been first created by Jnaneshwar many centuries ago. This is the game that is very commonly known and played today as snakes and ladders. But the Mokshapada Sopanam or the Paramapada Sopanam is very similar to the snakes and ladders game, where you have to move with the throw of the dice, and the ladders represent our movement towards higher states of consciousness, towards improved states of identifying and imbibing divinity in our human forms. And through various kinds of yamas and niyamas that we have to cultivate. So the ladders lead us up by the cultivation of Daivi Sampat. The Bhagavad Gita in chapter 16 speaks about Daivi and Asuri Sampat. What is it that we have to acquire as wealth? These are qualities of that manifest our own inner divinity, while the Asuri Sampat is that which pulls us down. And so the snakes represent our descent. And here you see in this particular version of this board game, you see the snakes named for different asuras. All the asuras represent the confluence of rajas and tamas at their peak, whereas the ladders represent our journey towards increased sattva. And so this is again a very charming custom that was conventional in traditional practices in India. Coming to how Narayana as Ishvara is worshipped, it is believed that there are 5 forms: Para, Vyuha, Vibhava, Antaryamin, and Archavatara. The Para form is Narayana as Parabrahman, as Paravasudeva, the source of the entire cosmos. When Arjuna is given the Vishwarupa Darshana, we see that in chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita, he sees embodied in that magnificent form of Krishna that spans from the earth to the far heavens. We see the entirety of the cosmos contained in that form. This represents Paravasudeva, Parabrahma Swarupam. This is the point of origin of all creation. It is also the return. This is also known as Vaikuntha. This is the point where all of creation is subsequently withdrawn, only for the cycle of genesis and dissolution to start yet again. Now from there, the Para form is an abstract form, inaccessible to us because of its abstractness. And also inaccessible because this is at the highest point where Narayana is present as Parabrahman, Paratvam. Here, Narayana is seated with Sri Devi, Bhudevi, Neela Devi, surrounded by the Nitya Suris. These are the great Siddhas, the perfected yogis who have attained a permanent status in Vaikuntha. Pretty much inaccessible to us from the levels that we are. Then there is the Vyuha, which is the Kshira Sagara, known as Parkadal in Tamil, the Kshira Sagara, where Adishesha reclines, where Mahavishnu reclines upon Adishesha. This is the point where creation begins. So often Narayana is also represented with a lotus emerging from his navel, upon which Chaturmukha Brahma is seated. Now here in the Vyuha, where Narayana is seated on Adishesha, this is where Narayana is very close to the earthly realms. He can call out, he can hear the calls of those on earth, and he can keep a close watch on his bhaktas. And here he takes 4 forms: Pradyumna, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana. Each of these Vyuha forms has two set of activities, one cosmic and one ethical. We will explore these shortly. Then at the third level are the Vibhavas, also known as Avataras. Avataranam means to descend. Repeatedly, this Parabrahman, as Narayana, who reclines in the Ksherasagara, descends when there is a tilt in the balance of dharma, where on earth, avataranam ichaiva hetuhu natu karma. The avatara happens simply by the will of Narayana, says the Yatindra Matadipika. Prayojanam tu dushkriti vinasha purvakam sadhu paritranam. There is only a twofold purpose. According to Yatindra Matadipika, the purpose of all avatars is for the destruction of anything that is evil, all evil. When there is tyranny on earth, in order to suppress that and for the protection of the noble. As Krishna says in the Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam, for the timely protection of the sadhus, Vinashaya cha dushkritam, for the destruction of the evil, and Dharma samsthapanarthaya. Because when the balance tilts, then Dharma descends into adharma. And so for the re-establishment of Dharma, Sriman Narayana incarnates, and there are a number of Vibhava forms. We have the Dashavatara. Apart from that, you have other forms such as Kapila, as Hayagriva, and so on, as detailed in the Bhagavata Purana. Then you have the Antaryami. There is the creator, there is the creation, and there is the creator who enters into his creation as the Antaryamin. The Sampradaya, the Vaishnava Sampradaya tells us that Sriman Narayana is the Nimitta, is the intelligence that is the source of all creation. Narayana is also the Upadana, the raw material. You could attribute this to clay. Upadana is clay. But the clay becomes a means to make the pots. But the clay will not become the pot on its own. It requires another intelligence, which is the potter. The wheel that is used is also deployed by the potter in fashioning clay into pot. So this is how Narayana is both the material cause and the intelligent cause. Not only that, Narayana also enters all creation as sentience, as Chaitanya, as the life behind life. And this Antaryamin is the indweller inside all Jivatmas. Antaryamitvam namas swarga narakadya anubhava dashayam api jivatmanaha suhritvena yogibir drashtavyataya hridaya pradesha avasthitam rupam. The Antaryamin is the one who enters into the hearts of the Jivatma, perceptible to the vision of the yogi, and seated in the Hridaya Pradesha, established as Antaryamin, simply as an effulgent spark of light in the space of the heart. Now, even the Antaryami, though omnipresent in all Jivatmas, is still inaccessible to us because we fail to see this magnificence of the divine that exists inside of us as we get caught up in the mundanity of our existence. And so, the fifth form is the Archa, where there is a Vigraha, there is a sculpted image, and there are a number of such images that are sculpted. They are made out of stone, out of metal, and they are ritually consecrated, and established shrines are created around them. Why is this? Because we see that for all of those who are seeking a path out of samsara, the Paramapada is attributed to being rain-laden clouds, but the rain is far away, not yet accessible. The Vyuha is like water that has fallen into the ocean. There is an abundance of water, but it is not consumable. The Vibhavas are like waterfalls. They are descents, and they occur for a purpose, after which, once that purpose is over, Vishnu returns to Ksherasagara. Then we have the Antaryamin, but again the Antaryamin, according to certain acharyas, can be compared to water beneath the ground. It's far below. It needs effort. You have to dig deep within to find this water that is within. And what is easily accessible as potable water, like we have access to the rivers, because the rivers flow. And this quality, this is known as Saushilya, the innate fluidity of Narayana, who takes the form that is consecrated as stone, as sculpture, in art, in paintings, to be accessible to us in forms that we choose to worship and venerate. In that form, the divine manifests, and the entire prana of the cosmic divine is brought into this image. These are not just stones. Once the prana pratishtha is done, then that image, whether stone or metal or a piece of art, is a living image that has the entire power and potency of Narayana. And so all of these forms are to be thought of and remembered specifically on Vaikuntha Ekadashi. Definitely through the month of Margazhi, we see Andal in the first 5 pasurams. These are the forms that she has highlighted. The very first pasuram of Margazhi, in that she speaks of the para form, where she says, Narayanani namakke paraitaruva. Then the second pasuram speaks of the Kshira Sagara. The third, Ongi Ulagalanda, speaks about one of the Vibhavas, specifically Vamana Avatara. Then Azhimalaikanna, where she speaks of the Antaryami, and Mayane, the Archa. These are the different forms that are also celebrated by Andal. Here you have a representation of Mahavishnu in Paramapada. The Vyuha forms in the Kshira Sagara, you have Vasudeva, who has 6 attributes of Bhagavan. The word Bhaga literally means the one who has 6 qualities: Jnana, omniscience; Bala, infinite power; Aishwarya, abundance of, again, masterliness; abundance of lordship; Virya, tremendous strength; Shakti, power, potency; and Tejas, effulgence. So you have Vasudeva in the Vyuha forms, who has all 6. Then you have from Vasudeva emerging Shankarshana, who represents Jnana and Bala. Then from there, Pradyumna, possessing Aishwarya and Virya. And from Pradyumna, Aniruddha, with Shakti and Tejas. The Sankarshana form is for the purpose of dissolution of the universe at the time of Pralaya, and for the protection of the scriptures, so that there is a resurgence of knowledge. Pradyumna's form is ascribed to creating the universe and to bringing to establish dharma. Dharma Nayanam. All of this is referenced in the Yatindra Mata Deepika. You could say that is one of the crucial texts to enter into Sri Vaishnava philosophy. The form of Aniruddha sustains, protects, maintains all creation, and also gives us knowledge about the tattvas, the principles of the truth of Purusha and Prakriti, and therefore Tattvam Nyapayati. At a microcosmic level, Sankarshana is represented by the Jiva, Pradyumna by the Manas, and Aniruddha by the Ahamkara. It is also conventional to map the 12 forms of Mahavishnu. We have done a practice using these forms a few days ago. So Keshava, Narayana, Madhava mapped Vasudeva, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana mapped to Sankarshana, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara mapped to Pradyumna, Rishikesha, Padmanabha, Damodara mapped to Aniruddha. It is also, according to the Padma Tantra, the avatars are also mapped to Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, with Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, the fish, where Mahavishnu takes the form of a fish, of the Kurma, the tortoise, and Varaha, the boar, mapped to Vasudeva. Nrisimha, half man, half human, half lion, to protect Prahlada. Vamana Avatara, to subdue the ego of Mahabali. Rama and Parashurama, mapped to Sankarshana. Balarama, the elder brother of Krishna, who is an incarnation of Adishesha, mapped to Pradyumna. Krishna Avatara and the Avatara that is yet to come, Kalki Avatara, mapped to Aniruddha. So this is another way of looking at the Vyuha forms. So in the Vyuha, Krishna Vasudeva lies on Adishesha in a state of Yoga Nitra, from where the actual process of genesis of this cosmos comes into being. The Vibhava forms are the avatars. The Antaryamin is beautifully described in the Narayana Suktam as this tiny effulgent spark of light that is at the tip of a flame that burns within the inverted lotus space of the heart. This is how the Antaryamin that is within the Jivatma is presented. And we will use this for the focus of our practice today. The Archya forms are all the consecrated forms. We have seen several of these forms through these practices. Now, for our practice today, since it is Vaikuntha Ekadashi, it is going to be primarily a Shravana Dhyanam, where we use Japa as a means for bringing the mind to rest on Mahavishnu. I will be using the Narayana Ashtottara Shatanamavali. I will explain what we will do, but we will start with some breathing before we go on. Please sit comfortably, your back straight, eyes closed, chin down. Take a few breaths. Now, we will do a simple seated movement, just with your palms folded towards your chest. On your inhale, up. On your exhale, down. I will chant the Narayana Mula Mantra, the Ashtakshari, Om Namo Narayanaya. Palms together. Please raise your hands up as I chant. Bring your hands down to the heart space. Visualize that Narayana as Para Vasudeva is also the Antaryami that dwells within. Eyes closed. Inhale. Om Namo Narayanaya. Chant. Om Namo Narayanaya. Inhale. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Om Namo Narayanaya. Please sit comfortably. We will now do pranayama, Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, which is traditionally recommended. I will chant as you do this. On your inhale, we will use again the 12 names of Mahavishnu. We will use them in sets of 3. So on your inhale, I will chant one of them. Hold your breath, I will chant the next. Exhale, I will chant the third. Then again, inhale right, hold, exhale left. We will do a few cycles of this. Please just follow my chant. Your breath is inhale left, hold, exhale right. Inhale right, hold, exhale left. Please use the Mrigi Mudra. Inhale left. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Hold. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Exhale right. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Inhale right. Om Govindaya Namaha. Hold. Om Vishnave Namaha. Exhale left. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. Inhale left. Om Trivikramaya Namaha. Hold. Om Vamanaya Namaha. Exhale right. Om Shridharaya Namaha. Inhale right. Om Hrishikeshaya Namaha. Hold. Om Padmanabhaya Namaha. Exhale left. Om Damodaraya Namaha. Inhale left. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Hold. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Exhale right. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Inhale right. Om Govindaya Namaha. Hold. Om Vishnave Namaha. Exhale left. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. Inhale left. Om Trivikramaya Namaha. Hold. Om Vamanaya Namaha. Exhale right. Om Shridharaya Namaha. Inhale right. Om Hrishikeshaya Namaha. Hold. Om Padmanabhaya Namaha. Exhale left. Om Damodaraya Namaha. Inhale left. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Hold. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Exhale right. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Inhale right. Om Govindaya Namaha. Hold. Om Vishnave Namaha. Exhale left. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. Inhale left. Om Trivikramaya Namaha. Hold. Om Vamanaya Namaha. Exhale right. Om Shridharaya Namaha. Inhale right. Om Hrishikeshaya Namaha. Hold. Om Padmanabhaya Namaha. Exhale left. Om Damodaraya Namaha. Now, please sit comfortably with your back straight, eyes closed. Place the 3 fingers of your right hand in the space of the heart. Just place it here. We will invoke the 4 Vyuha forms. Just place the 3 fingers in the heart region. Breathe in as I chant, breathe out on your exhale. Om Vasudevaya Namo Namaha. Chant. Om Vasudevaya Namo Namaha. Om Sankarshanaya Namo Namaha. Om Sankarshanaya Namo Namaha. Om Pradyumnaya Namo Namaha. Om Pradyumnaya Namo Namaha. Inhale. Om Aniruddhaya Namo Namaha. Chant. Om Aniruddhaya Namo Namaha. Now, just take a few breaths. We will now use the Narayana Suktam. As I mentioned, Narayana is Paravasudeva, above, far above in Vaikuntha, is also within us as the Antaryami. I'd like you to visualize this Narayana above, as I will be sharing the form of Narayana at Paramapadam. Just hold this image in your mind far above. Then visualize a ray of light from there all the way into your heart space. In the heart space, visualize a downward facing lotus bud. This is how the Narayana Suktam presents the Antaryami. In the region of the heart, just below the throat, just above the navel, a small dark cave-like space in which there is an inverted lotus bud that is facing downwards. It is surrounded by the network of nadis that hold it in place. In the midst of this lotus bud that faces down, blazes a fire. This is the fire of the consciousness of the Jivatma. And at the very tip of the central flame is a dazzling spot of light, which is the Paramatma that is enthroned inside of us as the Antaryami. So I'd like you to hold this visual for a few minutes. Paramatma, Parabrahman above, Paravasudeva, Paramapadanatha of Sri Vaikuntha. Ray of light all the way into the heart space, penetrating into this downward facing lotus bud. In the midst of that is a flame. The flame burns upwards. At the tip of the central flame is a dazzling spot of light, which is the Antaryami. It is surrounded by the dark cave of the heart space, but that one spot is dazzlingly bright. As the Bhagavad Gita says, ज्योतिषाम् अपि तत् ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम्. There is that illumination that lights up everything else, that is beyond the reach of the darkest darkness. It is in the hearts of all. It is this that the Narayana Suktam gives us as an image. Please hold this image in your mind, visualizing this connection between the Paramatma and the Antaryami that illumines the Jivatma and that brings Chaitanya, brings sentience, and that enlivens, empowers, and directs us on the course of life. Please stay with this visual for a few minutes. Please hold this image in your mind as I chant from the Narayana Sukta. पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशगुं हृदयं चाप्यधोमुखम् अधो निष्ट्यावितस्त्यां तु नाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति हृदयं तद्विजानीयाद्विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगुं शिराभिस्तुलं बत्या कोशसन्निभम् तस्यान्ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितम् तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वार्चिर्विश्वतो मुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विभजन् तिष्ठन्नाहारमजरः कविः सन्तापयति स्वं देहमापादतलमस्तकम् तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अणियोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यदमध्यस्था विद्युल्लेखेव भास्वरा नीवारशूकवत्तन्वी पीताभास्यात्तनूपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्मा स शिवः सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् ऋतगुं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गळम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्. Stay with this visual for a few minutes longer. Now, slowly let go of this image. Since it is Vaikuntha Ekadashi, as I mentioned, we will make japa of the Moola Mantra a part of the Dhyanam practice for today. As I had mentioned, the Archa forms where there is a consecrated image in temples is where the abstract, infinite, intangible, supreme is present here among us, beautifully adorned, beautifully bedecked, in a manner accessible to us, to our minds, and pleasing to our hearts. I share an image from the Panduranga temple taken this morning, special Alankara for Ekadashi. You could hold this image in your mind. You could open your eyes, look at this image, or you could hold any image of your choice in your mind. I will be chanting the Vishnu Ashtottara Shatanamavali. This is 108 namas of Mahavishnu. Please chant Om Namo Narayanaya before every mantra, before every nama. I will be chanting. Please chant with me. Wherever I chant Om Namo Narayanaya, chant that. If you can, hold this visual in your mind. You can open your eyes, look at the image, close your eyes, bring it to your mind's eye, or you could do it with your eyes closed, or alternately, hold any image of your Ishta Devata in your mind. Om Namo Narayanaya Vishnave Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Jishnave Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Vashatkaraya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Devadevaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Vrishakapaye Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Damodaraya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Deenabandhave Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Adidevaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Aditestutaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Pundarikaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Paranandaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Paramatmane Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Paratparaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Parashudharine Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Vishwatmane Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya कृष्णाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय कलिमलापहारिणे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय कौस्तुभोद्भासितोरस्काय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय नराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय नारायणाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय हरये नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय हराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय हरप्रियाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय स्वामिने नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय वैकुण्ठाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय विश्वतोमुखाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय ऋषिकेशाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय अप्रमेयात्मने नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय वराहाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय धरणीधराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय वामनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय वेदवक्ताय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय वासुदेवाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सनातनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय रामाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय विरामाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय विरजाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय रावणारये नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय रमापतये नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय वैकुण्ठवासिने नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय वसुमते नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय धनदाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय धरणीधराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय धर्मेशाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय धरणीनाथाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय ध्येयाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय धर्मभृताम्बराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सहस्रशीर्षाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय पुरुषाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सहस्राक्षाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सहस्रपादे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सर्वगाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सर्वविदे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सर्वाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय शरणाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय साधुवल्लभाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय कौसल्यानन्दनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय श्रीमते नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय राक्षसकुलनाशकाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जगत्कर्ताय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जगद्धर्ताय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जगज्जेताय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जनार्तिहराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जानकीवल्लभाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय देवाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जयरूपाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जलेश्वराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय क्षीराब्धिवासिने नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय क्षीराब्धितनया वल्लभाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय शेषशायिने नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय पन्नगारिवाहनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय विष्टरश्रवसे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय माधवाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय मथुरानाथाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय मुकुन्दाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय मोहनाशनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय दैत्यारिणे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय पुण्डरीकाक्षाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय अच्युताय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय मधुसूदनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सोमसूर्याग्निनयनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय नृसिंहाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय भक्तवत्सलाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय नित्याय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय निरामयाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय शुद्धाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय नरदेवाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जगत्प्रभवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय हयग्रीवाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जितर्पवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय उपेन्द्राय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय रुक्मिणीपतये नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सर्वदेवमयाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय श्रीशाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सर्वाधाराय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सनातनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सौम्याय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय सौम्यप्रदाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय स्रष्टे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय विश्वक्सेनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय जनार्दनाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय यशोदातनयाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय योगिने नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय योगशास्त्रपरायणाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय रुद्रात्मकाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय रुद्रमूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय राघवाय नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय मधुसूदनाय नमः। Slowly let go of this image. Offer your manasika namaskaras, your mental salutations to Narayana, who is present in these 5 forms as Para, Yuva, Vibhava, Antaryami, and Archya. Please stand up, face the front, palms folded together. I will chant, just listen to me. When I finish chanting, please chant Om Namo Narayanaya. We will do a Dik Namaskaram, so you will make an Atma Pradakshinam offering your salutations. Om Narayanaaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Please chant Om Namo Narayanaya. Turn to your right. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Chant Om Namo Narayanaya. Turn again to your right. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Chant Om Namo Narayanaya. Turn once again to your right. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Chant Om Namo Narayanaya. Turn back to where you began. Simply bend down. Just bow your head down as I chant. Vanamali Gadishangi Shankhi Chakri Chanandaki Shriman Narayano Vishnur Vasudevo Bhirakshatu Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanur Dhya Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama Kayena Vacha Manasendriyairva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Adyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Thank you for joining me on this very auspicious occasion of Vaikuntha Ekadashi. We meet again tomorrow for day 27 of Dhanur Dhya Sadhana. Thank you. Namaskar.